Hey there, it's Emma from Body Love HQ, and I hope you are well. So we are here today to go through the Body Love approach to overcoming food guilt. And I'm using screen sharing, which I've never done before. So I just want to see, I'm just checking on my phone that it works, and it does, so that's cool. Okay, so today I just want to take you through some training about overcoming food guilt, because I believe that many women around the world are really wasting a lot of their life, really focusing on what they eat. And I guess something that happens all the time for me is if I'm out and about in coffee shops or whatever, and you hear, and you're going out with a friend, or you're with, you can hear other people at other tables talking, and you'll hear them say something like, "Oh, I shouldn't be eating this," and that's pretty frustrating to me, because I realize that I'd much prefer to hear women sitting down and saying, "Oh, this is what's happened in my life, and this is so exciting, and oh my God, the cake tastes amazing," rather than being really worried about what they eat. Because I think what happens is we get distracted by that, and we're not actually fulfilling our life's purpose or doing what feels good for us when we are just focusing so much on food. So I just want to maybe ask you the question if you feel like you're suffering from food guilt. So do you say things like, "It's my guilty pleasure," or "I shouldn't be eating this, but I will," or "Go on, let's be naughty together," or saying things like, "I'm so bad because I ate blah, blah," or "No thanks, I'm being good." These are all signs that you do feel guilty about food. And I'm not putting any blame on you for that, because almost all women, especially in the Western world, feel guilty about food. And it's something that we're taught from a really, really young age, but we're actually not taught it from birth. So the thing is, you are not born with food guilt, and you're not born feeling bad about your body. This is something that happens over time. So I really wanted to talk you through a little bit about this. Now, the first bit about not being born with food guilt, this is more of an anecdotal thing to tell you about, but I'm sure you've seen it if you've got young children of your own. I've seen it in my nephew, who's just past 1 year old. When he is eating food, he just bloody loves it, and he's really enjoying the food and having such a great time with it. You get that picture of a baby with food all over its face, really enjoying the food, until they're not anymore. And so once they've had enough of something, they'll just naturally stop eating. And that's not something that's only available to babies. It would be the same for us if we weren't surrounded by messages about food being bad or food being good. So that's one little bit of anecdotal information I wanted to give you. But the other thing was actually a study that was done in the early 2000s, and it was with a group of girls in Fiji. So there was this island in Fiji that had never had television. And up until this point, the women, especially the young teenage girls, were very proud of their bodies. Now, if you think of some Fijian bodies are quite stocky and they're quite strong, and I guess they wouldn't look like you'd think, say, a supermodel would look in this day and age. So these women were very proud of their physiques, because when they were stocky and strong, it meant that they were able to stand up for themselves, and their bodies were really functional, and they were able to be fit and healthy and all those kinds of things. But what happened was, once they got TV, within a year or even less than a year, what happened was there was a huge outbreak of eating disorders. So once these girls had started to see TV and Western media and lots of skinny looking bodies, they started to believe their bodies weren't good enough as they were, and they weren't happy with them anymore. So this island in Fiji went from having almost no eating disorders to something like 70% of girls were struggling with eating disorders. So it just shows you that you're not born feeling bad about your body. We weren't born feeling that we should be a certain size. It's just something that has been put upon us by what I would call diet culture. So I'll talk about that in a sec. Now, this next slide, if you don't like language, please bear with me, but I think this actually sums up a lot about how I feel about food guilt and how I feel about shaming people for having a certain size body. So this is a quote from Lindy West, who wrote a book called Shrill, and she says, "I reject the notion that thinness is the goal, that thin equals better, that I am an unfinished thing and that my life can really start when I lose weight, that then I will be a real person and have finally succeeded as a woman. I'm not going to waste another second of my life thinking about this. I don't want to have another effing conversation with another effing woman about how she's eating or not eating or regrets eating or pretends to not regret eating to mask the regret." Oops, I just yawned to death. So this is, maybe a little bit full on, but I actually like this quote because I think what happens is when we get really obsessed with dieting and when we get really obsessed with what we eat and when we have that food guilt, we actually become a little bit boring to be around. Like there's other things to talk about than what we just put in our mouths. So that's why I think it's really important to overcome food guilt. So the reason this food guilt happens is because of diet culture. So I just wanted to talk you through a little bit about what diet culture is and how it kind of happens. So diet culture is the not so invisible forces that make us believe that being thin is beautiful and guarantees health. It's the messages from the media, advertising, news stories, celebrities, magazines, social media, and influencers, as well as our own families, that have led us to believe that unless we fit into society's narrow view of beauty or wellness, we'll never be enough. It's why we oppress people with larger bodies, call them lazy, don't give them promotions or jobs, or use them as the butt of jokes in movies and TV. Diet culture is a slippery, conniving, ever-changing thing that robs people of their time, money, health, happiness, and so much more. And it's mostly been invented in the 20th century by the advertising industry and also big pharma and, the people that can actually make money off making people feel bad about their larger bodies. So some of these photos really sum up what diet culture is. So you can see this photo of a woman who's she's slim and she's gorgeous and she's kicking away a hamburger and she's kicking away a milkshake and a donut and some chocolate. So these kind of images are the things that make us feel bad about what we eat. Or you can see this other woman here who's just loving her salad. It popped up on my feed the other day, this photo of all these people laughing as they're eating salad. And I think the comment was something like, who knew that salads could tell jokes? Because it's kind of weird to seeing these photos. When you think about it, these photos of people just being so delighted about salad. What about these kind of photos? Similar sort of thing here. My broccoli is in a love heart because it's so good for me. And this woman here, again, delighted because she's got a green smoothie on the go. And then these people who don't look so delighted, who are doing some exercise. But we always see people in the media doing exercise when they have these tiny bodies or these ripped bodies, and that gives people the idea that they can't do exercise unless they have a body that looks like this, or the only reason to do exercise is to try and get a body that looks like this, when we know that there's so many other benefits to exercise that actually have nothing to do with how your body looks, but a lot to do with how your body feels. So when we're seeing these kind of images all the time in the media, that's why we believe that diet culture, that's why we believe that, we need to be thin, and that's why we get guilty about eating the wrong types of food. And I say wrong with inverted commas because there's no wrong or right. Something that was really interesting to me that I learned in the last little while from a nutritionist is that really a balanced diet is based on what we eat over a really long period of time, so over a period of months, rather than what we eat on any given day or any given meal. And again, diet culture would have you to believe that every single meal needs to be balanced, otherwise we're doing ourselves a disservice. And the truth of the matter is everything we eat has some level of nutrition. Obviously, some foods are more nutritious than others, but I can pretty much guarantee you're getting nutrition in every single meal that you eat. And obviously some meals are more nutritious than others. So I just wanted to talk a bit more about what you can do instead. So instead of really looking into diet culture or really buying into diet culture, it can be great to start to think about body positivity. So in case you don't know, body positivity is actually a movement that is under the assumption that all bodies are worthy of love and respect, no matter their size or shape. And when we engage in this idea of body positivity, it means that not only do we respect other people's bodies, no matter their size or shape, we respect our own. And what that can mean is two things. One, we can understand that we're not going to necessarily eat perfectly every single day, but we can love ourselves anyway. But two, when we love our bodies, no matter their size or no matter their shape or no matter how fit they are or how healthy they are, when we decide that our body is worthy of love anyway, that actually means that we are likely to look after it better than we would if we believe it needs to look a different way to be worthy. So it is a social movement, and it is something that's becoming more and more prevalent, particularly in the areas such as fitness. So, that's what I've been doing for a long while, is teaching fitness classes that are suitable for all body shapes, and they're not designed to necessarily help you lose weight. They're just designed to help you move your body in a way that feels really good for yourself. So this is what can be a really big game changer, is when we decide that our bodies are worthy of love and respect no matter what. So that's what I'm hoping to help more and more women get into their heads, that body positivity is a great way of living life, because you're able to really, respect yourself and respect other people. Now, when we do have this idea of body positivity, it's much easier to then start eating normally without the food guilt. So I really love this quote from a book called Secrets of Feeding a Healthy Family by Ellen Satter. And this is a whole list of ways to know whether you're eating normally or not. Now, sometimes I think the word normal is a bit, I don't know. I don't know if I love the word normal, because, sometimes you're not normal, and that's okay as well. But let's just go with it. So normal eating is going to the table hungry and eating until you're satisfied. It's being able to choose food you enjoy and eat it and truly get enough of it, and not just stop eating because you think you should. That's where the guilt comes in, right? Normal eating is being able to give some thought to your food selection so you get nutritious food, but not being so wary and restrictive that you miss out on enjoyable food. So like I said, when you love your body, you are going to want to give it nutritious food. You're not going to just keep eating pizza. And I'll talk about that in a sec. Normal eating is giving yourself permission to eat something because you are happy, sad, or bored, or just because it feels good. So a lot of these wellness people out there will say, let's get rid of comfort eating. What's at the bottom of your comfort eating? And I used to be like this as well back in the day when I first started being a health coach. But the thing is, food is one of the most beautiful comforts in the world. And if you're eating because you're happy or sad or bored, that's cool. If you're eating like that every single day, maybe that's not so cool. But if every once in a while you are, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing to feel guilty about. That's just, we're humans, we've got taste buds, and that's why we eat. Normal eating is mostly 3 meals a day, or 4, or 5, or it can be choosing to munch along the way. Now, again, in diet culture, there'll be multiple diets that say you should eat a certain number of meals a day, or you shouldn't eat at certain times, or you shouldn't graze, or you should graze. The thing is, normal meat eating is what works for you. And the only way you can learn that is trusting yourself and really learning what suits your body and letting go of the diet culture mentality. Normal eating is leaving some cookies on the plate because you know you can have some again tomorrow, or it is eating more now because they taste so wonderful. So you know that some days you'll eat more of them, some days you won't. That's cool. Normal eating is overeating at times, feeling stuffed and uncomfortable. And it can be undereating at times and wishing you had more. Normal eating is trusting your body to make up for your mistakes in eating. And this is so true. Your body will work itself out. Like, seriously, if you ate pizza for every meal of every day or ice cream for every meal of every day, you just wouldn't. You'd change your mind. You wouldn't be able to eat it all the time anyway. Normal eating takes up some of your time and attention because we want to eat nutritiously, but keeps its place as only one important area of your life. And I know, as someone who used to really struggle with this, everything was about food. I'd be tracking it. I'd be, counting the calories. I'd be thinking what my next meal could possibly be to fit in with those calories. And it's not a way to live. We've got other things to think about, other important things to think about. So in short, normal eating is flexible. It varies in response to your hunger, your schedule, your proximity to food, and your feelings. So there is no reason to feel guilty when you look at this list here. There's no reason to feel guilty because some days you'll eat more, some days you'll eat less, some days you'll eat more of the cookies, and some days you'll eat more of the broccoli, and that's just the way it works. Eating well and eating a balanced diet is based on what you eat over months and months, not what you eat in one single meal or one single day. And just on a quick note, these are all the wonderful women that came with me to Bali on the retreat recently. And we actually proved this theory because we were able to have our breakfast cooked for us every morning, and a lot of us were having a nasi goreng or something, so like sort of fried food every morning for breakfast. It was bloody delicious. But after a couple of days of being away, we were all craving vegetables. We just wanted vegetables. So it's just to prove, and like a little anecdote to prove how you will be able to trust yourself, but trust your body to know what it needs to help you feel better. You're not going to be eating the crappy food for days and days and days. It's just not going to happen. So if you're suffering from food guilt, if this sounds like some of the things that you've been worrying about, and if you look at that list of normal eating and you think, what the hell, I can't do that because I will feel guilty if I eat too many cookies, or you do eat too many cookies and then you feel guilty, what can you do about it? I just want to offer you some of the suggestions of different ways that you can handle this. And, I've got a few different programs and things that can actually support you if that's what you're after. So the three things I want to talk about are the self-compassion meditation, supporting your energetic body as well as your physical body. So this is where we start getting a little bit more off the beaten track. We're not talking about diet and exercise anymore. We're talking about something completely different. Or you can immerse yourself in the Body Love method. So that's something that I have taught as a one-on-one coaching program, but also in the Body Love Academy, or the 12-month coaching program that I am currently teaching as well. So I just want to talk you through how those things work and see if there's maybe something in one of these that you want to try for yourself. So first one's self-compassion meditation. Now, a 2014 study showed that 3 weeks of daily self-compassion meditation decreased feelings of body shame and increased body appreciation and self-compassion. So this is quite incredible, because what happens here is, with just 3 weeks of daily self-compassion meditation, you can actually change the way you feel about your body. So if you're decreasing your body shame, and that means, you don't feel bad about your body as much as you did before. And if you increase the appreciation of your body and also the self-compassion, that means you are going to feel less food guilt, because you're going to be more compassionate to yourself if you do eat a few extra cookies or, pizza for a couple of nights in a row. And you're not going to feel as shameful about that, because you will have learned more about self-compassion meditation. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. There's some really great apps out there with meditation on them. So one of my favorites is Insight Timer. I actually have some meditations on Insight Timer. You can also go for a meditation app called Calm, which I really love as well. Or Headspace can be a great place to start as well. But I just wanted to let you know, in case you didn't know, that I have created a 21-day program. So this 21-day program is basically the same meditation. It's a self-compassion meditation that you do on a daily basis. It's only 7 minutes long, so you can get it done, in less than 10 minutes. And what it will do is help to increase those feelings of body appreciation and self-compassion and decrease body shame. The reason I've created the program is usually if you just use an app, it's really difficult to sort of stay motivated because we all have different styles of meditation and we all have different things that work for us when it comes to meditation. But a lot of these apps don't give you those nuances that you need to be able to create your own program or your own session or your own ritual that will work for you. So I've created the 21-day program because each day of the program, there's a short video, or you can read the email that comes to your inbox every day to keep you motivated, but also to teach you some little hacks. So some little tricks and techniques that I've learned over the last few years of meditating that can help it become really easy for you. Because normally when people start a meditation practice, it gets really, really hard and it doesn't work for them, and so they stop. So they don't get those 3 weeks of benefits that you'll get from 3 weeks of self-compassion meditation. So I've made this program really simple to use. You get a daily email and you can watch the video, or you can just listen to, read the email and you can listen to the meditation. It's a guided meditation, 7 minutes, and that's it. So that's a really easy way to start to learn to have that self-compassion and reduce food guilt and to really sort of feel good about what you're doing in your life. So I'll put a link to that after I finish the presentation in case you're interested in having a go at the 21-day program. It's only $21. It's just $1 a day just to get your meditation practice going. All right, so the second thing I wanted to talk about is supporting yourself on an energetic level. So this is something that I just started to do probably 3 or 4 years ago, but it was definitely something that was really the beginning of my body love journey. So if you've tried all the diets and the exercise programs and you feel like you haven't got any willpower and you feel like, you just can't do this, maybe it's time to start something or try something completely new, or actually quite ancient. I'll tell you what I mean in a second. But maybe it's time to start healing yourself from an energetic level. So basically, in our bodies, we have these energy centers called chakras, and they help to really support us on a physical level. They're actually aligned to our endocrine system, which is our hormonal system, but they also support us more and more really on an emotional and spiritual level. So when you feel like everything's just flowing, like, you get the car park that you want and someone offers to pay you back money that they have, they've owed you for years or something, or everyone's offering to buy you lunch, and work's going really well and your relationship's going well and everything feels like it's in flow. That's usually a sign that you are energetically balanced or your chakras are balanced. But when we are feeling stressed and when we feel a lot of guilt, like we would with food guilt and food shame, then that means it's going to impact our energy levels. It's going to impact our the flow of energy that runs through our bodies, and that means we're going to sort of find that we'll have more issues and we'll probably do more of that comfort eating, but we're still going to be feeling guilty about it. So the chakra balancing can be done on multiple levels. And when you're suffering from guilt, usually that's a sign that you have an issue with the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is found just underneath the belly button. So sort of in the area of where your reproductive organs are, if you still have them. I don't. But this area here, the sacral chakra, is really governing your feelings of pleasure, your feelings of creativity, your feelings of guilt and shame. That's the flip side of the sacral chakra. So when your sacral chakra is balanced, you will feel creative and you will feel pleasure and you won't feel guilty. So to support your sacral chakra, you can do things like eat juicy fruits, really get pleasure out of eating those kind of juicy, really luscious fruits, or really get into your chocolate, or all those kind of things are ways that you can really help to support the sacral chakra. You can also do things like dancing or creating art, or really give yourself the chance to express your creativity and to laugh and to really feel pleasure in your life. And the more you do that, the more you're going to strengthen this energetic area. And that means you're less likely to feel things like guilt and shame, especially around food. So I know for a lot of people, this might sound a little bit out of the box, but I have to tell you that when I started to really look into the chakras and learn more about the chakras, that was when my body love journey really, really started. It was when I was able to see that I was more than a physical body, and it was more than how I looked. It was also how I felt. And I found that this system, this ancient system, it's been, around thousands of years, was really a way for me to see my body from a totally new perspective. It was a real game changer for me, and that's why it's part of the body love method, and that's why I like to share it. So I have actually created a 3-part chakra balancing workshop that you can do at home. It's a do-it-yourself, video online course. So this really helps to start healing your relationship with your body. We talk about the sacral chakra that I was just talking about, but also all the other chakras. So there's 7 altogether. So in this online program, you'll receive a video lesson all about the chakras, so you can learn about them and learn how to support them for body love and for accepting your body. It also comes with a distance reiki healing, which really helps to balance your chakras from an energetic level. And the reiki healing is something that you can do over and over again. So one of my students told me recently she did the reiki healing the day before she had a job interview. And she was going for this job interview, and she was up against about 25 other people. And she was offered the job, and she was told that she was head and shoulders above all the other people who applied. And this student of mine said, I really think the Reiki helped me to feel grounded and balanced and confident. And that's what balanced chakras will do. So in this distance Reiki healing, you do the Reiki healing with essential oils. So you actually get sent a little parcel of essential oils. So you get a little thing in the mail with some essential oils that you can use during the Reiki healing. There's also a chakra balancing yin yoga class. So yin yoga is really suitable for almost everybody. There's a few people with certain injuries that it might be difficult for, but for almost everybody else, yin yoga is absolutely accessible. So you'll get a class of yin yoga that's on video that you can do anytime you like as well. So I have to tell you that learning about the chakras, having more Reiki healing in my life, essential oils and yoga have all helped me with my feelings of body love and really helping me reduce things like food guilt. So completely out of the box, so different to what you'd normally see in terms of fitness and health, but a really amazing little program that you can do at home, and you can redo it over and over again. So again, I'll put a link to that in the comments after I finish this presentation. Cool. And then the last thing I just want to remind you of is the Body Love 12-month coaching program. So this is where you get to become, whoops, what did I just do? This is where you get to become a Body Love coach. So you get to be a certified Body Love coach, and you get to learn the Body Love method and all the techniques that I have put together to really help you love yourself and love your body. And then you also get to learn how to teach it to other people and, potentially make a business out of it yourself. So I've been teaching this all year long. My students are almost finished the first round, and they are really getting so much out of it, not just for their future businesses, but really for themselves. So I just wanted to share with you some of the feedback I've been getting for the program. So one of the women said, I owe you my life. It's more than just being a coach. It's the whole Body Love method. You are a healer. And this means a lot to me because I know the person who wrote this does suffer a lot from a lot of illnesses, and her going through the Body Love coaching program and learning to become a Body Love coach really helps her to learn the Body Love method and really internalize it so that she can help herself feel better about her life. She can help herself feel better about her body, even though she is still feeling the effects of having multiple illnesses. So such a short, succinct comment, but such an amazing comment because I've seen this woman thrive over the years. So this is one thing that you can do for yourself. And then I got this other message just the other day, actually. I think it might have been today. All the days have rolled into one with a long weekend. But she said, today I was reminded by my stepdad, who I know means well, but that I'm no longer that young, and according to him, I should really find a man who would financially provide for me. So my life has a meaning, and so I live a good life. I suddenly felt old and incapable, and for a moment I did consider that he might be right, and I have passed my prime. It's just doom and gloom from now on if men stop finding me attractive. But then I thought, thank God, I know about the Body Love method and I have my toolkit. I plan to give myself a big giant bucket of love to pick myself up. It really made me think about my values and what I want out of life. It's interesting how some people view us women and aging as negative, and how sometimes a woman's value is determined by her relationship status. Luckily, I recognize that yes, I may not fit the traditional model, but I am proud to be brave enough to create the life I want, and I choose to reject the view that I need to find a man to be validated. I also know that goddesses don't age, right? I choose to love and honor myself despite having a little wobble today and feeling a little low. Tomorrow's a new day. Compassion and self-care rituals is just what I need this evening. So again, this is even before she's stepping out into the world with her business, but she's able to use the Body Love method to help her feel better about herself. She's got tools and techniques that she can use to really pick herself up. And I guess that's something I want to say about body love and body positivity, because we are surrounded by diet culture, because we're surrounded by people who think that women need to look a certain way to be successful or happy. You fall back into it sometimes. You know, you may feel food guilt again, but you've got tools when you start to do this sort of stuff to pick yourself back up again. And that's what's so incredible. So if it's something that, you know, really rings a bell with you in terms of you want to help other people feel great about themselves while learning how to do that for yourself, I highly, highly recommend having a think about joining this 12-month program. It'll start again next year. So I'll put a link to that in the comments as well when we're finished. So I just wanted to say, someone copied me in on this on Facebook today. It's time to respect yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself, accept yourself, stop judging yourself, and nurture yourself, and start from today. There's no better time to start, really. So I'd love to know in the comments, is there something that you've learned tonight that you can do to reverse the food guilt? So now that you're aware of what diet culture does, is there something you can do to ditch it? Maybe unfollow some people that you've been following, or stand up for yourself. If other people are talking about dieting, you can sort of say, I don't do that anymore. Can you embrace body positivity? Can you see that all bodies deserve love, no matter what they look like? Or anything, their fitness level, their health status, anything at all. Every body is worthy of love and respect, not just the body itself, but the person in it. Can you try a new practice like meditation? And perhaps, there's a 21-day program there that can help you out if you need the support, or just look up some of the apps I mentioned. Or do you want to get into the chakra balancing and just see how that can support you in a completely new way, maybe something you've never thought of or tried before? Or maybe you're ready. Maybe you're ready to go all in and learn and share the Body Love method and create that ripple effect. Because you know what will happen? The more we talk about this, the more we reject diet culture, the more we embrace body positivity, and the more we share some of these tools like the Body Love method, then women aren't going to feel guilty anymore, and if we feel less guilt around what we eat, and if we love ourselves exactly the way we are, we actually are more likely to look after ourselves better. We're actually more likely to be healthier, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And when we have fit and healthy women in the world, I think we can really sort of change the world as well, because when we're distracted by what we're eating and diets and all that sort of shit, we're not able to really step up and be the real people that we're supposed to be. So if you need anything more from me, you can go to bodylovehq.com/free, and you can book a free session to talk about any of my programs, or I'll put all the links to all of the things I've talked about in the comments at the end of this session. So I'm just going to stop